Literally anybody else could have scored that overtime goal, and I would not be as mad as I am right now. Caps lose 4-3 in overtime against the Calgary Flames, and that was just, that's so frustrating to watch. Not because we lost. I don't even really mind the loss. The loss I can deal with, especially because we stole a point away from this game. What I can't deal with is watching the Caps play so crappily and then play so good and then end up losing. Chalk it up to what you want. A lot of people are going to say it's the 1 p.m. start. I don't buy into that. However you look at it, the Caps did not show up to this first period. It was all Calgary all the time, but I can't help but think that the entire dynamic of the first period and the entire game is changed if Kuznetsov scores on that breakaway. Yep, I stand by that wholeheartedly. If Kuznetsov does not hit the post on his breakaway in the first period, the entire game feels completely different to every single Caps fan. Compounded by an egregious roughing call on Garnet Hathaway that led to the Calgary first goal. Seriously, officiating this game was just, it was so painful. You just had blatant miscalls, and then they're calling ghost penalties. I don't know why the refs feel like they have to inject themselves into the game unnecessarily. But anecdotes and personal feelings aside, looking at this from as an objective standpoint as I possibly can, this was not a terrible game for the Caps. The biggest problem is that they only played like 30 minutes of the game. You gotta play a whole 60-minute game to win a hockey game. And when you play 30 minutes and when you go 0 for 4 on the power play again, you're gonna lose. Yeah, 0 for 4 on the power play. So now that's 0 for 4 against Tampa, 0 for 3 against Colorado, 0 for 3 against New Jersey, and now 0 for 3 against Calgary. That's 0 for 14 in their last 4 games. I do have to say the power play looked at least a little bit better in this game because there were more chances on net, and they made some personnel changes. Mainly, they took Mantha off the first power play. Thank goodness. But still, that is no excuse for not scoring in 14 attempts with a man advantage on the ice. So I'm just going to completely bypass the first period. And now we're going to talk about the second period. Evgeny Kuznetsov scores for his 3rd game in a row. This guy is on fire. And thank goodness he did, because after giving away that shorthanded goal, that shorthanded goal is pretty much entirely on him. He comes back and he gets his own shorthanded goal to kind of balance out the situation. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it is a Marty party. Martin Ferivari gets his first NHL goal, and this is a very fun goal for him. Tom Wilson drop passes the puck on the half board to Martin Ferivari. Martin Ferivari takes the puck from the top of the circle down to the dot, and he's not contested by anybody. And the reason he's not contested by anybody is because if you just take a gander to the opposite side of the ice, Alexander Ovechkin is waiting there for the puck to come to him. So literally everybody, including all Calgary Flames players, including the Calgary Flames goaltender, including everybody watching the game, is thinking that puck is probably going to Alexander Ovechkin. And Martin Ferivari is even looking at Alexander Ovechkin, and with the look off, no look shot on net, he beats the goaltender and gets his first NHL goal. That was just, that was so much fun, and it put the Caps within 1 to come back into this game. And then Alexander Ovechkin scores, and at this point, that's just nothing new, and he is now 1 step closer to reaching the ultimate goal for him, which at this point is just reaching Wayne Gretzky in goals. Okay, that's probably not the only goal he has at this point. He wants to win another cup. He definitely has more goals, but let's be honest, that's the one thing with him that everyone's keeping track of, that anyone at this point really cares about. So yeah, a dismal first period. The Caps are down 0-3, and it's like, why am I watching this game at 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon? But then the second period comes around, and it's like, this is an awesome game. I'm so glad I'm watching this game at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. Third period is a bit of a nail biter, but nobody scores a goal. We ended up going to overtime. And I didn't get to watch overtime because I had to leave to go to dinner with my wife to celebrate our wedding anniversary, but I got to listen to it on the radio. And as overtime was starting, I said to my wife in the car, I said, "Wife, the Caps are gonna lose this game in overtime." And sure enough, the Caps lost in overtime, and to add insult to injury, the hockey gods saw it fit to give the goal to none other than Elias Lindholm to give him the completed hat trick on the game. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I would not be as upset if anybody else on this Calgary team scored that overtime goal. It's even better that it wasn't actually in Calgary, because then the whole place would have actually gone bonkers. But what a sinking feeling watching him score that goal. Now the Caps should have won this, because they should have scored on their first shift. The Russian trio out there to start overtime, they should have scored on that possession. And then I do think Samsonov should have had that save, and it just, he makes the save, but then he doesn't make the save, and it just kind of squeaks by him, and it's just, it just felt like everything was going wrong. And I feel like the Caps deserved to lose this game, but then it's like, well, we got a point, so we kind of won this game. Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like the Caps won by stealing a point out of this one. I did not see the Caps coming away from this one with any points after that first 20 minutes, but the Caps walk away with a point in standings, and they're still undefeated in regulation. I almost said overtime, not overtime, regulation. They're still undefeated in regulation, and I said last video that they were undefeated in regulation, and I was expecting them to lose in regulation, but then they didn't lose in regulation. But now I'm saying it again, they're gonna lose in regulation in the next game. Oh, I keep cursing it, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it feels like a moral victory to walk away with a point in this one. Anyone who says otherwise, well, they're probably trying to sell you something.
Anyone who says differently is selling something.
It's frustrating to watch because of how dynamic the opposites on the spectrum can be for this team. How badly a team can play, and then how good a team can play within a 60-minute game. But the biggest frustration is going 0 for 4 on the power play. Look, you can win games in the regular season, especially only 5 games into a season, and you can steal points in a regular season without scoring on the power play. You know when you can't win without scoring on the power play? In the playoffs. And that's like, 77 games away at this point. So it's a long ways away to think about the playoffs, but like, you can't win in the playoffs if you're not scoring on your special teams. And you definitely can't win in the playoffs if you're giving up shorthanded goals. That is the second shorthanded goal the Caps have given up in 5 games. That is a terrible ratio. If your team's playing poorly and they play poorly the whole game, you can just say, damn, they played a bad game. Let's get them next time, guys. But when you see your team play shitty in the first, great in the second, good in the third, and then losing in overtime, it's just like a letdown, build up, letdown. It's an emotional roller coaster that I did not sign on, especially for a matinee on a Saturday. But you know, at least Martin Verivari got his first goal, and at least Alexander Ovechkin got another goal. So I guess there are some highlights to look at, and there are some good things to walk away from this game with. But guys, let's start scoring on the power play, please. I don't even know what to say anymore about that. I've been talking about it for 4 games now, and if I talk about it anymore, I'm gonna really lose it. So yeah, Caps played bad, Caps played good, Caps end up losing but steal a point. It's a Marty party, a first NHL goal, Alexander Ovechkin is one more closer, and the power play needs to still work on some things. But that's it. Next game's going to be very interesting because Nick Dowd is injured, and that means Hendrix Lapierre and Connor McMichael are going to be playing. And Connor McMichael has had a good couple games, and Hendrix Lapierre had a good couple games before that. Maybe nerve-wracking, but very interesting and very fun. Next game is Monday night against Ottawa. I hope the power play does better. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Just a Fan. If you liked the video, as always, please hit that like button. It does a great job at promoting the channel and recommending the content to other Caps fans. And if you enjoyed your time here, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would love to see you come back. And as always, Caps fans, let's go Caps!